Alright guys, hello and welcome to another Zero to Hero guide. In this one we're going to be looking at how to do a fast castle and discussing when, why and what exactly a fast castle is, followed by exactly how to do it and a detailed in-depth look at that. Now this tutorial is going to be a little bit more loosely done than my previous Zero to Hero tutorials. The previous ones are always scripted, and I feel like this one I just kind of want to jump into it and just start talking as we watch a game in the background between Jordan 23 and Riot. Now, the fast castle is an incredibly important strategy, or build order I suppose you could call it, to learn in Age of Empires 2. It's used at every level of play, from, right down to beginner level, all the way up to the very top experts, because it is something that is always viable in many situations. Now, this game, we've got Arena in the background. It's Jordan 23 versus Riot on Arena, and these guys will, of course, be doing a fast castle. This map is very suited to a fast castle. Now, the idea of the fast castle is to basically get up to the castle age as fast as you can. And the reason you want to do that is because once you get up to the castle age, you get two big benefits. Those two benefits are the early castle age units, such as the Knight, which is immediately available upon reaching the castle age, and secondly, the fact that you can start adding more town centers. Now, there comes a point in time where just surviving off 1 TC is not going to be enough. Your villager production is simply going to be too low. In a 200 population game, your goal is to be at about 115 to 120-ish villagers at the end for the late Imperial stage. Now, imagine making all of those from one town center. It would take you a lot of time, and you would be really far behind someone who goes up and builds 2 or 3 new town centers on top of their starting TC. So in a map like Arena, it's really important that you fast castle, because it allows you to add those new town centers in and make sure that you can boom your economy. So that's one example of where a fast castle can be really strong, and it's also used in many other maps such as Black Forest, or in fact any map where you're going to have a very easy wall. If you've got an easy wall between yourself and your opponent, in this situation the walls are already there, then doing a fast castle is great, because it allows you to build up to the castle age and build those extra town centers and keep yourself safe whilst doing so. Also, in a team game where you're playing in the pocket position, so in a 3v3 or a 4v4, fast castling is also very common there. You can still go up to the castle age and add those extra town centers. But in a 3v3 or a 4v4 situation, on a map like Arabia, for instance, where it's much more open, then you can really benefit from fast castling, because it allows you to support the flank players by sending some knights over. Now, 1 or 2 knights will be able to kill about 9 archers. That's a seriously good trade when you think about the costs of those units. The archer costing 25 wood and 45 gold, and the knight costing 50 food and 75 gold. So the difference there is not very much, but a knight can kill many archers without even dying. So it becomes very valuable to have those knights on the map early, and the earlier you can do it, the stronger or the bigger the advantage you will be able to get. So there's two of the main reasons and the main times that you will want to do a fast castle. And in fact, if you simply learn the fast castle build order and you get it, if you get really good at learning to fast castle, if you are a lower rated player around, say you're 1500, 1600 on AoE HD, if you learn to fast castle, you could easily start beating the players of your level who don't know how to do it, because it is just that strong against players who might be a little slower. So the main thing about the fast castle is that you will stay in the Dark Age for a little longer, and I've not really looked in detail at Jordan 23's build order here, but what we'll do is we'll skip to my point of view in a minute, and we'll look at my build up and my fast castle, which I recorded earlier. So this one for Jordan 23 is going really well so far. You'll see that he's taking advantage of the deer, and he's also bringing in those boars right now. But the main thing about the fast castle is that you have to stay in the Dark Age for longer. It means that you will go up to the feudal age on approximately 25 or 26 population, which is actually quite a considerable more population or more villagers than you would if you went up on 22 to do a fast feudal and feudal aggression. So the length of the Dark Age is extended. Once you get up to the Feudal Age, you'll add 1 or 2 more villagers, and then you'll proceed to click up to the Castle Age. And you should aim to click up to the Castle Age. I think for you guys just learning to do it, 13.5 minutes. You should be able to get that down to 12.5 with practice, and I would definitely recommend practicing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut away from this, and we are going to go and look in depth at the actual build order itself. And this is what you may want to take notes on and try and learn so that you can get it down exactly right. Okay, so then, the first thing you want to do, as with any game when you build up at the start, is build 2 houses immediately. Send 2 villagers to build 1 house, and your remaining villager to build the other, whilst queuing villagers at the town centre. You can see they're coming out there. You want to find your sheep as quickly as you can, and if you have got a little bit of micromanagement skills as well, you can scout with your sheep for a little bit more faster map visibility. So you can see that I'm sending those first villagers to sheep underneath the town centre. You want a total of 6 villagers on sheep before you move them anywhere else. So the next 3 villagers that come out of your town centre should go straight to the sheep, whilst your scout cavalry and your sheep that you've collected start scouting around. Now in this game, I'm actually playing as the Britons. I did random this civilization. Britons have a nice little sheep bonus, so you've got to you're guaranteed to be able to keep villagers pumping out and keep that sheep meat coming in. Gives them a nice little advantage in the early game, meaning that they're less likely to be population blocked as they gather from the sheep a little bit faster there. Now, obviously, if you are playing as another civ, then 6 villagers on food is just right. It means you can keep villagers popping out of that TC non-stop with just those 6 villagers on the sheep to begin with. Now with your scout, you're looking to find your other, well, you'll find your initial 4, and then you'll be looking to find your other groups of 2 as well, sorry. So you'll be finding 2 more groups of 2 and looking to bring them in towards the town centre, as well as looking for your boar. Now the next 4 villagers after your initial 3 extra onto the sheep, so you have 6 on sheep, your next 4 will want to go and build a lumber camp and take wood. You will need a little bit more wood in a fast castle build, because you will want those extra buildings in the feudal age, and also you will want a few more farms as well. So getting that wood in is really important, and one thing that a lot of players do is run out of wood quite quickly, and I think in this one I do struggle slightly for wood. But we make it there eventually. And so 4 villagers onto wood now, and the next villager will go out and find or bring in the first boar. Now you see my scout cavalry here, it's managed to find all of those extra sheep and I'm bringing them back towards the town centre. Now the next villager that comes out after your 4 to wood will go take that boar. We'll send him over there now, and the one after that will be sent to berries. So we'll bring this first boar in and lure that in. 2 shots on the boar and then run back. And then the next villager will go and build a house next to the berries. So you attach them to the berries, but build a house because you're at 13 population now. And if you get population capped any time during the Dark Age while doing this build, it will cost you some significant amount of time. So the next villagers you're going to want to send over to the berries, and you're going to want to get 4 villagers over to the berries. So you've got that house builder there. The next one will come out and build the mill, and that's 2 villagers over at the berries. 2 more out, and they'll go to the berries as well. Now in this situation, I've actually got really close deer towards the town centre. In this situation, I have 3 deer, and they're in a lureable distance. So I'm going to lure these deer towards the TC now. And if you can lure the deer, that's fantastic. If not, don't worry. You can always build a mill on them. And if you have 4 deer, you should probably mill them anyway and get your scout to scout your enemy. So at the moment you can see we've got the 3 villagers on the berries. The next one now is going to head over there, and he will be the 4th. Meanwhile, I'm luring those deer in towards the town centre. But like I say, if you don't have the ability to lure the deer, which I would definitely recommend practicing, then you should build a mill on your deer instead. Now, this situation, I did lure them in, so I'm going to get a little bit of a food boost from that and save on the wood. And I've added another villager onto the boar in the meantime, with more villagers now being sent to the food. You should always try and keep the food coming in as best you can. And if you are luring deer towards the TC with your scout as well, I would definitely recommend 2 villagers to each deer. Or 4 if you can manage that as well. Now at the moment the boar is getting, well, not that saturated, so you want to make sure you've got plenty of villagers taking the boar too. And of course not forgetting to add more villagers into food production. Building that house at the back, making sure of course not to get housed, and it doesn't really matter too much when you build your houses, just so long as they are not you are not getting housed. That's the real key thing here. So those are the rest of the villagers into the deer now, and I'm continuing to send more and more villagers to food, with the weakened villager from the boar building a farm. Now you should always take your weak villagers to build farms. Now your 21st population, your 20th villager, sorry, should be going to take some more wood. You want to send a couple more villagers over to wood at this point in time, so that you can make sure that you have the wood income for extra farms, which we're now seeding. And also, in this situation, I'm going to be doing a fast castle build into knights. So I will be doing a barracks and a stable, so I can go straight into knights once I reach the castle age. In this situation, I'm going for an aggressive play rather than an all-out boom. So now at 23 population, I've got 6 villagers on wood back there, and I'm going to send my next villager out to take some gold. At 23, you'll want to send 3 villagers to go and take gold, and that will take you up to the 26th villager. So the 25th villager. I always include the scout in that count, which is not right, obviously. So those 6 villagers at the back taking wood, the 4 on the berries, the remainder are on food. I've got 2 farms at this point, and from the 23rd villager onwards, I will be starting to send villagers over to take gold now. And I'll be adding the occasional villager over onto wood as well. I've now got 7 on the wood. 7 is the most ideal number in this situation. So there's that 3rd villager going onto the onto the gold over at the south, and my villagers under the TC still taking that food, but I've clicked up now to the feudal age. Now I didn't do loom in this situation, and if your opponent on an open map like this is going to be doing a fast feudal, I definitely do loom before you click up to the feudal age. But in this situation, I'm kind of demonstrating this as if you were playing in a pocket in a team game. So we're taking the rest of those sheep. They're going to be out soon, and I've transferred a lot of my villagers now, a good 6 or so, onto the wood. And we will need a lot of wood. Once these villagers underneath the TC run out of food as well, we will be again putting some more onto the wood here. And once we get up to the feudal age, of course, we're going to want those 2 feudal buildings so that we can actually click up to the castle age straight away. Now, my 2 feudal buildings are going to be a stable and a blacksmith. Oftentimes, if you're in a pocket position, you might want to do a blacksmith and a market. That way you can save a little bit of wood, because in this situation, we are going to be spending that extra bit of wood there due to using making a barracks as well. If you want to just do a boom, make a blacksmith and a market. If you want to go aggressive and make knights in the castle age, then you'll want to build a barracks, a stable, and a blacksmith. So there's the barracks up, and I've got lots of villagers now on the wood. I've only got 4 farms. I'm actually short by 1, and I will be wanting to add another one in, but it's going to have to be cut very fine. There's the stable and the blacksmith. I've got 1 villager extra coming out, and look at the resources at the top now. 782 or 90, 800 food pretty much, and 250 gold. I'm going to click loom as soon as this villager comes out, and that then will put me at 800, 200, which is exactly the amount of resources we need for the castle age. So in this situation then, that barracks and, the blacksmith and the stable are up, and they are done. The loom upgrade is done, and I can click straight to the castle age in 12 minutes and 27 seconds, which is a decent time to say the least. Now, because I'm going for a knight build here, I'm going to send extra villagers over to gold, and now I've clicked up to the castle age, I'm going to start some eco upgrades as soon as I get the resources for them. That wood upgrade is going to be crucial because you will need a lot of farms, especially if you're doing, if you're going up to the castle age and you're planning planning to do an eco boom, the wood upgrade is going to be huge. Costs 100 food and 50 wood, but the investment is really worthwhile as soon as you get that extra bit of food in the bank. Also doing that horse collar upgrade when I can afford it means that your farms will basically last longer and you will save wood there as well. The important thing to remember when doing a fast castle is not to get those upgrades on the eco at all until you click that castle age upgrade. Now, like I say, in this situation, I'm going for a night rush, so I will be adding those extra villagers onto gold. If you're going for an eco boom, send those villagers onto wood instead, and that way you'll have the extra wood to build your second and third TC quite quickly. Now, when I get up to the castle age here, my plan is not to build the second and third TC straight away. Instead, I'm going to aim to build a few knights first. And if I was, for instance, in a pocket position and I had 2 flank players, those knights would be going straight to my flanks and they would be starting to kill any feudal army that the other team has left on the map. So try to fix my wood at the back here. Villagers often get stuck, and it's always a problem, and you should try and make your eco a little bit more efficient. Also notice that these berries are getting pretty low on this left side. That's going to happen, and I do have an extra villager on berries here just to substitute my food slightly. But those berries are getting low, and now I'm going to start taking a little more wood, because whilst I can start making knights straight away with 4 knights there queued up immediately, I will be wanting that second and third TC reasonably soon as well. Not to mention the fact that we need that wood to replenish our farms soon, which are about to run out. So got to make sure we split our lumber and make sure that we get some extra wood income there. But those first knights are out, and of course I've scouted my enemy with my scout, and those knights are on the way over. Now, if this is a team game, you'll be wanting to communicate with your flank players so that they know, you know even where they are at, and if they need any help, and so you can best direct your knights to the best location. Now, the first thing I'm doing here with these villagers is adding a few more farms. Now, knights costing 50 food each, villagers costing 50 food each, you are going to need a few more farms. You'll need at least, you'll probably want about 12 farms up and running pretty quickly so that you can keep knights coming out and you can keep villagers coming out as well. You will have a little bit of surplus on the food due to the feudal age and castle age upgrades. You're not spending any food during that time, so you will have a little surplus to keep you going. Now, I did get housed here, and that's something you really want to try and avoid. Nobody's perfect, everybody gets housed, but if you can avoid being housed, then that is good for you, and you should definitely try and do it. So I kind of messed up a little there on that house, but remember, your TCs will add population as well, but never enough. You will always be housed if you just build your TCs and rely on them for population. Now, I've got to admit, my army micro is not great. I should definitely be hotkeying those to a control group and then bouncing back and forth between them and my eco. But in this situation, I'm doing more of an eco demonstration, adding more farms now, sending more villagers to wood, and you can see my wood starting to fill up a little bit. Doing a night build means that you're requiring more gold and food, and that means your wood will start to build up, and you can afford a few more farms, and you can afford to get those town centres up reasonably soon. So that's pretty much it for a very fast castle with knights coming out straight away. If you're doing this in a 1v1, be careful, because the biggest weakness to a fast castle is if you get attacked whilst you're upgrading and you've got no military. You can get flattened very quickly by a feudal army if you have no defences. So make sure you've got some defences, i.e. walls. Make sure that if your opponent's going scouts, you add maybe a couple of spears just to keep your eco safe, and even if that delays your time a little bit, that's not such a big deal. So going back to Jordan 23's build right now, he is currently at 25 population. He's sending his third villager over to the gold. Now, this build order is going to be slightly different to mine, and it is worth noting there are variations on the fast castle, and mostly up until the 26th villager, it's going to be the same every time. But once you get up to the castle age, and when you redistribute your eco going up to the castle age, those changes are what can make all the difference. Now, in this situation, I think we're going to see Jordan 23 going for a monk rush, and you'll see the difference in what he does here, but we're going to watch it closely anyway. But like I was saying before, One of the key differences, or one of the key problems, sorry, with a fast castle is that if you fast castle and you're wide open, then a feudal army will kill a lot of your economy, and you're going up to the castle age with quite a fragile economy anyway, just 28 population. If your opponent comes in with 5 or 6 archers, you can end up losing a lot of those villages very quickly. Your economy can be extremely disrupted, and then the whole fast castle is just kind of ruined by that. So you do have to be very careful in those situations, and that's why, typically speaking, players will do the fast castle from the pocket position in a team game, or they'll do it on a flank if they are, or even in a 1v1 if they have the walls up already. So that's really important to remember. But I think at the lower levels, at 13 to 14, even 1500 on AoE HD, if you fast castle, even on Arabia in a 1v1, you'll probably be fine, as long as you have the fast castle time. So Jordan 23 up to the feudal age now. Those extra villagers coming out, and you can see in this situation he does the market and the blacksmith. He only has 7 villagers on the wood, and he's not got as many villagers on wood as I had in my game, and that is obviously because he doesn't need so much wood to do the market blacksmith as he would for the barracks, stable and blacksmith. But now you can see that market and blacksmith is coming up, and he's now sending a lot of villagers over to gold here, and that is because he is obviously planning to go with monks. Now, monks can be incredibly strong in the castle age as well. They're great for using in defensive situations. They're great if your opponent is also fast castling and making knights. You get a few conversions there. Really good stuff. And also they are very good if you are just going for, in arena even, if you're going for the relics and you want to take some map control. So Jordan 23 here is sending a lot of villagers over to gold. Obviously I didn't need this many villagers on gold in my game because I was only going for knights, but monks are a little bit more expensive. In this situation, he's got 10 villagers on gold here, and those that gold is going to be piling in. Meanwhile, he's still got those 7 villagers on the lumber, but if you have a look, he did that double bit axe research straight away on the way up to the castle age, and there's horse collar as well. You've got to make sure you wait until you click the castle age upgrade before getting those eco upgrades. That's a really important thing. Now, Jordan 23's berries are going to run out fairly soon as well, and he also only has 5 villagers on the farms at the moment. So we'll see where he redistributes these forage bushes to. He might end up sending them to wood. He might seed a couple more farms. You do need 6 farms to keep villager production going, so he will need another farm at least if he wants to keep villagers coming out of this TC. But his wood's starting to rise quite nicely here, and of course if he's going for a monk rush, he will be building a monastery or 2 once he reaches the castle age as well. In fact, I'll speed things up now until he reaches the castle age. So those villagers bringing in a lot of gold. The gold income is getting really high at the moment. He's got a lot of wood piling up as well, and he might even add another town center pretty quickly. So there's the castle age upgrade. There's 2 monasteries out on the front, and that's cost him a lot of wood pretty quickly. But he's doing that bow saw upgrade as well very quickly once he's up to the castle age here. And doing the wood upgrades is so vital. You get a lot more out of your villagers, and they can be really beneficial to you, especially when you want to get those extra town centers up as well. Jordan now sending more villagers over to the wood and starting that wheelbarrow upgrade, which is also very good if you're going for a big eco once you reach the castle age. The wheelbarrow upgrade making your farms much more efficient. So Jordan 23 then going to redistribute more villagers over to gold, and he is doing double monks from the monastery. Now this is just one example of another variation on what you do when you get up to the castle age. Next we're going to look at a pure eco boom build where you will not see this many villagers going over to the gold. Okay, so in this situation, we have a 4 versus 4 on Black Forest. Now, Black Forest is very well known as a boom map, where most players will do a fast castle. And this is a map that is very common and very popular between lower rated players as well. Now, we're going to look at Su Shine here. You can notice already that he has actually taken all of his gold villagers off of gold. He's split his wood into 2, and he has a ton of wood collectors at this point in time. As he reaches the castle age, Age on 28 population. Now the reason he's done this is because he wants a lot of wood. He wants the wood, man. He just wants to get that second TC and that third TC up as quickly as possible, and he's managed to do that immediately after getting up to the Castle Age. On top of that, he's also wanted to make sure he's got enough wood to seed some farms. Now in Black Forest, there's often a lot of extra boar and deer around. You can see them right here, always groups of extra boar and deer, and if you are playing on Black Forest, you should always aim to take them. It will save you some wood in the long run, and that is always what we want to see. So it's Shine doing the bowsaw and the heavy plow upgrade immediately after reaching the Castle Age. Another benefit, of course, to having all of this wood is that you can get those upgrades a little bit faster as well. Now doing the heavy plow upgrade before even seeding any more farms is huge. It means that they have a lot more food on them, and they will last considerably longer, meaning that overall he can save some wood. Now we'll start seeing these 3 TCs producing villagers, and he's even taking a little more stone now as well. He might spend this gold and actually buy another 100 stone so he can put up yet another town center. A 4th town center is much more common in maps like Black Forest. So he's starting to take some stone with this TC here. His remaining boar are being taken, but all these farms are now starting to go up, and these villagers will be making more farms as they go, because as we know already, we do need 6 farms at each town center to support villager production, and that is of course exactly what Shine wants to achieve here. So all these villagers coming out of these town centers will start building more farms, and you can see that his food getting very low now as he builds yet another town center, the 4th TC there being built by buying the stone from the market with the gold that he's still collecting. So that 4th town center's up. He's still got 300 wood in the bank. Villager production now is starting to slow, getting a little bit tight on the food, but lots and lots of farms being seeded, and this would not be possible if he didn't redistribute his eco so that he had so many villagers gathering wood on the way up to the Castle Age and during the Feudal Age as well. So that's one thing that's really crucial to do if you're on Black Forest, and that is probably the third main variation on the fast castle that you can do. This one is a huge eco boom. The last one we looked at was going into monks, which was slightly different, and the first one we looked at was doing knights to support the flanks. So there we go. Hopefully this has been useful to you guys out there. I know it's a little bit different to the usual format of Zero to Hero, but I feel a little bit more laid back and chilled out about it today, and hopefully this has been educational, useful, and all of that good stuff. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Don't forget to give the video a little like if it was useful or enjoyable or whatever, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.